Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. In the show today, a hero on the pitch and off it is to be remembered at Blundell Park, and a councillor who's taking a leap of faith for charity. But first, here's Richard Morris with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, warnings ahead of this year's bonfire night, and a local aspiring author gets to meet a famous writer. Shoppers in Grimsby's Freshney Place fell silent this week as a parade went through the shopping centre to launch the Poppy Appeal. Veterans from conflicts ranging from Afghanistan to the Second World War took part in the parade and laid wreaths at a garden of remembrance in the shopping centre. The event holds special significance this year with the 100th anniversary of World War I and British forces' withdrawal from Afghanistan. Gail Davey, the Poppy Appeal Coordinator for Grimsby, explained the significance of this year's appeal.
Well, the problems that we had 100 years ago are still ongoing, with people coming from Afghan with a loss of limbs, as they did in the First World War. And a bit further on medically speaking, and we can help them more with more money and more funding. We have a battle back centre for people that have lost limbs or any injury. People go there for a week and it restores confidence and they find out what they can do.
Residents are being warned to take extra care as bonfire night approaches. Aside from the usual warnings of fireworks safety, people are also being advised that firefighters will be taking further industrial action over pensions. Between this Friday and the 4th of November, there will be industrial action, which could result in fewer officers being available. However, reserve staff will be on call. North and North East Lincolnshire need to become more dementia-friendly places, according to the Alzheimer's Society. As the number of elderly people in the UK increases, dementia is set to become a more prevalent issue, and the Alzheimer's Society believe that now is the time to lay the groundwork for future dementia care through the Dementia Friends initiative, extending dementia care beyond hospitals and care homes. Emily Cross, Services Manager for the local Alzheimer's Society, explained why it's important that people become dementia friends.
Well, recently we've had the Dementia UK and the Dementia 2014 reports that say that only 44% of people with dementia actually feel part of their communities, which means there's still 56% of people living with dementia that don't feel part of their community. 1 in 10 people with dementia only have been outside of the house once in the last month. So we really need to do more to make sure that's the exception and not the norm. So allowing people to feel that their communities have a better understanding of dementia, destigmatising the word dementia in order to make sure that people can live fulfilling lives.
A man has died after a road traffic collision in Rawby near Brigg. The incident occurred between a Volkswagen Golf and a Honda Jazz at 7:15 in the evening on Monday. It happened close to the A18 junction in the village. The driver of the Honda car, a 76-year-old Rawby man, was pronounced dead at the scene. The 35-year-old driver of the Volkswagen was uninjured but shocked. Humberside Police are appealing for witnesses to come forward. Humberside Police are also appealing for witnesses with regards to a road traffic collision on Stockholm Road in Hull. A silver Vauxhall Astra hit a wall last Thursday at 6:45 p.m. A dark 4x4 was seen at the scene but did not stop following the collision. The driver of the Astra received minor injuries. A 14-year-old Sherlock superfan hopes she might one day write a novel about the famous detective after meeting best-selling author Anthony Horowitz. Daisy Smith from Barnetby got to meet the author of the latest Holmes book, Moriarty, after winning a competition on social media to come up with potential names for Sherlock books. Her title, Villains League, was one of 6 winners, although she was the only young person who got to meet Horowitz in London last week. And the self-confessed Sherlock Holmes obsessive said the meeting has inspired her to carry on writing.
Oh, it was awesome because Anthony Horowitz was a really, really nice guy, like genuinely. He got out of the carriage that they were in, the horse and cart, and immediately just turned to me and went, "Oh, you're Daisy, oh hello," and immediately shook my hand and was putting his arm around me and we were getting pictures, and he was talking to me just really nicely and genuinely, and he was just really nice. Meeting him inspired me even more to carry on writing because he gave us lots of tips and different things on how to write, so it was really good. It would be good to be able to write a Sherlock novel. It would be really good. So maybe one day.
That's all from me. Bye for now.
Thank you, Richard. Now, with modern day wages and the glamorous lifestyle of a professional footballer, you can't imagine the modern day player wanting to do anything else. But 100 years ago, thousands of men across Britain left their careers on the pitch to fight in the Great War. One of them was the former captain of Grimsby Town, and he's now going to be remembered in a special service on Armistice Day. I went to meet his grandson, who is now 81 years old, to find out what it meant to him and his family.
Checked for his testimony.
These days, even the most fervent of Town fans might be forgiven for not having heard of Sidney Wheelhouse. But in 1910, he was a household name.
I was always told he was captain of Grimsby Town and he was one of the finest players they had as right back. And I believe he only ever scored one goal, but he was a hard tackling man. He was well respected because, as I say, even when I was, 10 or less than that, people used to tell me about my granddad that played football for Town.
But his reputation as a hard man and a great leader is precisely why he was needed for the war effort, and his prowess on the pitch wouldn't excuse him from his duty. Sadly, he never returned.
Well, he was at the Battle of the Somme, at the village of Avelis, which there was gassed. And I think he died 2 days later.
Sid had a wife and 4 children, including Ida, Ted's mother. And whilst his story has been remembered through the generations, the man who fought to the last both on the pitch and on the battlefield isn't well known among modern day fans. But that's about to change. As Town play Halifax on Armistice Day, the club will play a slideshow on Wheelhouse, and Ted has been invited to lay a wreath.
Oh, I'm very proud of it. It's been a long while coming, and I'm very pleased that I am still here to see it and to lay this wreath at the town's ground on the 11th, and hopefully that my 2 youngest great-grandsons are on either side of me, because I'm not very good on my feet. And one of them is a sergeant at the moment in the RAF cadets. The other one's a lifeguard. And I'm hoping I can have one of them either side of me.
All of us owe a debt to men like Sidney, something that Grimsby Town is recognising during this special match in November. And Town actually owe him a literal debt too, of £60 plus 5% annual interest since 1916. But it's a cheque Ted will never cash, because to him, the memory of Sid Wheelhouse is priceless. James Dunn, Estuary TV News. Now, we've actually got the calculator out here at Estuary and worked out what that £60 and a shilling would be worth today. And I can tell you one thing for certain, that Grimsby Town bosses will be hoping he never does cash it, because it's actually now worth £8,301.15. So maybe Sid will be tempted at least, but I don't think he'll cash it in still. Now, next on the show, I'm talking to East Riding councillor Margaret Chapman. She has overcome some severe health difficulties, but now she's better, she's decided she's going to give something back. She's joining me from Bridlington. Margaret, you've had a tough time of late. Tell me about it.
2 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer of the esophagus and a secondary in my right lung. They said it was inoperable and incurable. Sent me away with a handshake and good luck to an oncologist who was going to make my life as comfortable as possible.
That sounds like a terrible day, and was there more bad news to come?
Well, my son died on the same day.
And what was the cause of death?
He had a massive heart attack.
And how old was he?
Just had his 50th birthday.
But your condition has improved immeasurably, hasn't it?
My oncologist calls me a miracle. But I say they're the miracle workers.
But the cure for cancer, it has caused its own problems, hasn't it?
Yes, the cure had to be so much stronger than would be normal that it made 5 malignant growths in the left side of my brain and paralysed me all down the right side.
But you managed to survive that too, didn't you?
Yes, because I was used as a guinea pig by the Nova Centre. They took the lesions out with a gamma knife.
But that's a risky operation, isn't it?
Very new, no one had done 5 lesions before. But it worked. They started on me at 7 o'clock in the morning, and by 3:30 in the afternoon, I was going round Asda on York Road in Leeds doing the shopping.
So you're now celebrating and planning to repay this by jumping out of a plane.
Yes, I'm making the jump in the hope of earning a lot of money to give to Yorkshire Cancer Research and to the Macmillan nurses. Because without the research, they wouldn't have known how to look after me. And without the Macmillan nurses, I wouldn't have been looked after. So it's got to be for both of them.
So, Margaret, when was it that you decided you were going to do this jump?
Well, I thought about it middle of the summer, but we were so busy and things just got carried away. And so it's actually going to be on the 16th of November, weather permitting.
Now, I know you're never supposed to ask a lady this, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to anyway, because how old are you? Because these things aren't as easy when you get a bit older, are they?
It's not rude. My granddaughter says I'm crazy. My great-grandchildren think I'm even crazier, and I'm 71.
So your first ever skydive is at the age of 71?
Not exactly, no. I did it as a teenager.
And how have you prepared for this? I mean, is there any sort of special training that you need to go through?
No training because I'm going to do it in tandem, so I'm going to be looked after.
So maybe this is a silly question, but are you feeling nervous?
Not at all. No, I really would have liked to have abseiled down the Humber Bridge or something else that I've done before. But we have to get the Royal Marines to come and set it up, and we're a bit short on forces personnel at the moment, so didn't want to bother them.
And we're running out of time, Margaret, but please just remind us, which charities are you fundraising for?
I'm raising the money for Yorkshire Cancer Research and for Macmillan nurses.
OK, Margaret, thank you very much for talking to me today.
Thank you very much for allowing me to.
What a lovely lady. I'm sure it will be a real experience, and we wish her all the best. Now, unfortunately, we've run out of time for today, but we will be back tomorrow. Don't forget that if you've got anything to share with us, be it stories or views, get in touch by calling us on Grimsby 31553. You can get us on social media, search for us on Twitter or Facebook, or just email us on news@estuary.tv. So from me and the team, it's bye for now.